You're watching the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special as the KAIT sports team presents the K8 Coaches Super Team.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special. Alongside Chris Holden, I'm Daryl Hobby, and for the next 30 minutes, we'll be introducing what we're calling the K8 Coaches Super Team.
What we've done is sent out ballots to high school football coaches around the area and asked them to list players they felt should belong to an all-star team.
Now, to be fair, we asked each coach not to vote for any of their players except for offensive linemen and defensive players. Whatever players received the most votes, well, they made the team.
We start tonight's show with the surprise team of the year. This is the team that perhaps did a little bit better than what some would have anticipated.
This was a very, very close race, but after all the ballots were counted, it was Truman High School named Surprise Team of the Year. In his first year with the Wildcats, head coach Ricky Timms surpassed the expectations of his peers. Coming off a 3-7 season, Timms and company turned things around at Truman in 2001, posting a 7-5 record and making it to the second round of the playoffs. Things were a bit rough for the Wildcats in the early going, starting the season 0-3. But those games were against Class 4A teams, and two of those losses were by a single point. Once they got into league play, Truman was a team to be dealt with. They beat Conference 3-3A champs Rivercrest, and their lone loss was to 9-1 Gosnell. Congratulations to the Truman Wildcats, the K8 Coaches Surprise Team of the Year. And Truman definitely had a good year, making it to the second round of the playoffs. We're going to turn our attention now, Chris, to the most unpublicized and perhaps the most unglamorous position on the football field. We're, of course, talking about the offensive line. The praise is mostly reserved for those skill positions like quarterback, running back, and the wide receiver.
Yeah, but there's no doubt O-line should also be called a skill position, where players bang in the trenches using quickness, agility, hand-eye coordination, and intelligence to outsmart and outmaneuver defenders to open holes and passing lanes for their teammates.
Hi, I'm Greg Jones, senior offensive lineman from Jonesboro High School.
This year, Greg Jones opened some big holes, helping the Hurricane gain nearly 2,000 yards on the ground. Jones is not only one of the best linemen in Northeast Arkansas, he's one of the best in the state. The 6'6", 270-pound All-State lineman is being recruited by Arkansas, Tennessee, Michigan, Oklahoma, and Nebraska.
I'm Jeremy Stout, senior offensive center, Pocahontas High School.
Jeremy Stout has proven his offensive prowess time and again for the Pocahontas Redskins. Not only was he selected to the All-State team this year, he is a two-time 2-3A All-District team member. Stout also graded out at 92% on the line, an extremely impressive percentage. The 6'2", 220-pound center looks to play in college and is leaning towards Henderson State.
Craig Johnson, senior right guard from Paragould High School.
This 3-year Paragould starter rammed his way through defenses as a dominating run blocker, earning all conference honors. The 6'2", 275-pound right guard also looks to play at the next level and has been recruited by Southern Illinois, Arkansas Tech, and Ouachita.
Jeremy Hunt, senior offensive lineman at Wynn High School.
Behind Hunt and the rest of the Wynn offensive line, the Yellow Jackets buzzed their way to more than 5,000 yards of offense and 509 points this year. That effort helped the 6'1", 210-pound lineman earn all conference honors. Those are the four offensive linemen that created the most havoc for opposing defenses and are finally getting their just due on the K8 Coaches Super Team. Certainly well-deserving for all of them. Now from those big guys on the offensive line to their counterparts on the defensive side of the ball, where any fan will tell you they love to see touchdowns, but most coaches will say defense wins championships.
And that's definitely the case with these next four outstanding defensive players. In this group, there were 3 playoff appearances, a conference championship, and a state championship. Here are the defensive players selected to the K8 Coaches Super Team.
Hi, I'm Greg Jones, senior defensive lineman from Jonesboro High School.
Already selected as an offensive lineman, you can see the kind of respect coaches had for this outstanding player, also being named to the defensive team. The 6'6", 270-pound all-conference, all-state selection had 96 total tackles, including 5 for a loss. He had 3 sacks, 2 broken-up passes, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Talking to Jonesboro head coach Jim DeVazier, he says it's really a toss-up if Jones is a better offensive or defensive lineman. He is being recruited by major schools in both positions.
Hello, my name is John James. I'm OCL the Seminoles, senior linebacker.
Like a lot of the players that play high school football, John James went both ways. Here, seen as a running back, this linebacker was an all-conference selection. He was part of a Seminole defense that posted 4 shutouts and never gave up more than 22 points during a regular season game, all helping Osceola to a 9-1 record and the 4A East Conference Championship.
Aaron Bentley, junior linebacker, Truman High School.
Aaron Bentley, who doubled as a tight end for the Wildcats, is the second linebacker chosen on the K8 Coaches Super Team. At 6'3", 262 pounds, Bentley often had his way with the opposition, combining for an amazing 131 tackles, averaging nearly 11 tackles a game.
My name is Marquise Dixon. I'm a senior at Wynn High School. I play defense tackle.
Marquise Dixon was the leader on the Wynn High School defensive front and was part of a swarming Yellow Jacket defense, a defense that gave up 16 points or less on 8 different occasions this year. Wynn coaches described this all-conference performer as a get-after-your-butt, tough-to-block kind of player. Dixon had 65 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. Bentley, James, Dixon, and Jones, 4 very tough players that are the defensive players on the K8 Coaches Super Team. I don't think I'd want to mess with that group. They do look pretty tough.
I would not want to, you bet. Not in an alley, that's for sure.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Time to move on. We have taken a look at the surprise team of the year, as well as the offensive linemen and the defensive players that you just saw.
Well, when we come back, we'll find out who was voted as wide receiver and quarterback for the K8 Coaches Super Team.
Stick around. You're watching the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special.
The Dodge Durango. It not only hauls almost 4 tons, it's the lowest priced SUV you can get with a V8 engine.
Oh, great. Stuck behind another one of these.
Now get 7-year or 100,000-mile powertrain protection and 0% APR on 2002 Dodge Durango.
You drive and drive and drive. Others drive too, some behind you and some in front of you. And based on the laws of road physics, sooner or later, a rock will come crashing into your windshield. Well, maybe not that big of a rock, but it sure seems like it. Call S&S Glass. They have the experience to take care of any glass problem, big or small, windows, mirrors, and more. S&S Glass, 2 locations, Jonesboro and Poplar Bluff.
We can solve your glass problems, S&S Glass.
Attention vegetarians, viewing discretion advised. It's the new Ultimate Meat Lovers Pizza from Pizza Hut, piled high with an awesome array of 6 succulent meat toppings, and now smothered in 6 kinds of cheese. 6 meat toppings and 6 cheeses. Oh! For the most seriously satisfying pizza on earth, you'd expect to pay $12.99, but it's only $8.99. $8.99! The new Ultimate Meat Lovers Pizza, only at Pizza Hut. Vegetarians, resume normal viewing.
For only $2 more, make your Ultimate Lovers Pizza a large. Yep, you heard me, a large.
There's an easier way to bring comfortable wireless home for the holidays at an unbelievable low price. Through December 26th, new customers get a Nokia phone for just $9.99 after mail-in savings of $40. Plus, the first month of service is free. At this price, get 1 to give and 1 to keep. Then start enjoying unlimited calls over your Cricket service area for just $29.95 a month plus tax. Cricket, comfortable wireless. See store for details.
Welcome back to the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special. One of the more hazardous positions in football is wide receiver. A crossing pattern may get you 15 yards, but it may also get your bell rung by a linebacker.
But as the saying goes, no pain, no gain, as receiver is also one of the most exciting positions where a short toss can be turned into a 75-yard touchdown with some nifty moves and lots of speed, something you'll see from all the receivers selected to the K8 Coaches Super Team.
I'm Chris Bailey. I'm Octavius Bailey, and we're wide receivers at the Osceola High School, home of the Seminoles.
Leading the way are 2 players from Osceola High School, which is rare for a predominantly run-oriented team. But how could Baker not be on the squad when he runs a sub-4.4 40-yard dash and is being recruited by Arkansas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Iowa, and San Jose State? The B brothers tandem of Chris Baker and Octavius Bailey accounted for 80% of the team's receiving yards and 10 touchdowns. Baker led the team with 17 receptions, while Bailey led the receiving corps with 376 yards.
Tim Tosh, Batesville High School, senior wide receiver.
Tim Tosh pioneered his way to a 32-catch, 568-yard performance in his senior season. The all-conference selection also hauled in 4 touchdowns, helping Batesville win 5 of their last 6 games to make the playoffs.
My name is BJ Fort from Pocahontas. I'm a junior and I play wide receiver.
For the second year in a row, B.J. Fort started at receiver for the Redskins, who went to more of a rushing attack this year. Despite being double-teamed nearly every game, the 5'6", 140-pound junior still led the team with 20 receptions for 418 yards and 7 touchdowns. Osceola's Chris Baker and Octavius Bailey, Tim Tosh from Batesville, and the Redskins' B.J. Fort make up your K8 Coaches Super Team receivers.
Besides the center, he's the one that touches the pigskin more than anyone else and throws to those receivers. We're, of course, talking about the quarterback.
And no doubt about it, more often than not, it's the quarterback that's the focus of the offense. These next 3 quarterbacks were invaluable to their teams, and when Fridays rolled around, they gave opposing defenses plenty of fits.
Jack Harpino, senior quarterback, Kerrville High School, home of the Rams.
The shifty and elusive Carpino was the trigger man for the Ram offense this year. Carpino had the capabilities of throwing the ball, passing for 469 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the 5'9", 180-pound Carpino was most deadly, not just to our photographers, but to the opponents when he tucked the ball and ran. He amassed over 1,600 yards on the ground with 18 TDs. In the last 2 games alone, Carpino ran for 750 yards. Expect Carpino to play ball next year. Possibilities include Army, Rice, Southern Mississippi, and NCAA Division II powerhouse Carson Newman.
Cy Phillips, senior quarterback, Hoxie High School Mustangs.
The 6'5", 225-pound Phillips was a load to bring down this year. On the ground, he rumbled his way for 1,019 yards. He also found the end zone 16 times. But Phillips was equally dangerous when he stayed in the pocket, completing over 50% of his passes for just under 1,000 yards. He also had 7 TDs through the air with just 2 interceptions. With the size that Phillips has, he will play college ball next year. Arkansas State, Iowa, Memphis, and Tulsa are among the schools that have offered scholarships, and Phillips will be visiting the Hawkeyes this weekend.
Preston Timms, Kerrville High School. I'm a junior quarterback.
Because of injuries that occurred in the opening week of the season for Truman High School, Preston Timms was thrusted into the quarterback position. And did he ever respond? Timms passed for nearly 1,100 yards with 12 touchdowns, not to mention picking up 206 yards on the ground. Timms helped lead the Wildcats to a 7-5 record and a berth in the second round of the state football playoffs. Hoxie Cy Phillips, Parago's Scott Carpino, and Truman's Preston Timms are the quarterbacks on the K8 Coaches Super Team. And out of those 3, Preston Timms will be returning for his senior season. It is time for us to take a quick timeout, but still plenty to come.
When we come back, we'll name the running backs, as well as find out who was voted Coach of the Year. So don't touch that remote.
This Saturday, don't miss Friedman's one-day sale for spectacular values. Like this gold herringbone set, just $49. This matching ring and pendant, just $89. This 1-carat ring, just $199. Saturday only at Friedman's one-day sale.
Here in Walmart's home entertainment department, we have the freshest new movies. Check it out.
In Hong Kong, I'm Michael Jackson, you're Toto.
You mean Tito? Toto is what we ate last night for dinner.
One's all talk, the other's all action. Together, they're nothing but trouble. Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker.
It smells good.
Rush Hour 2. Get it now at Walmart.
So who's got the newest movies at everyday low prices? Walmart.
You drive and drive and drive. Others drive too, some behind you and some in front of you. And based on the laws of road physics, sooner or later, a rock will come crashing into your windshield. Well, maybe not that big of a rock, but it sure seems like it. Call S&S Glass. They have the experience to take care of any glass problem, big or small, windows, mirrors, and more. S&S Glass, 2 locations, Jonesboro and Poplar Bluff.
We can solve your glass problems, S&S Glass.
Now get 7-year or 100,000-mile powertrain protection and 0% APR on 2002 Dodge Ram.
This Saturday, don't miss Friedman's one-day sale for spectacular values. Like this quarter-carat heart, just $79. These quarter-carat earrings, only $89. And these three-quarter-carat earrings, only $299. Saturday only at Friedman's one-day sale.
Welcome back to the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special. We now turn our attention to the running backs. This position was perhaps the deepest in Region 8.
And after the ballots were returned, it was the running back position that had the biggest range of nominations, 20 in all. But when the votes were counted, it was these next few players that make up the running backs on the K8 coaches super team.
Deangelo Williams, Wynn High School, senior running back, state champ.
Leading the way at the running back position is Wynn's Deangelo Williams. As a junior, Williams was making a reputation for himself. And in his senior season, he did not disappoint. He put together an incredible season, racking up over 2,200 yards. This all-conference, all-state performer is being recruited nationwide, but he's kept relatively quiet about where he's going to go. Whoever gets him will have someone amazingly gifted on the football field.
My name is Marlon Adams, senior, Osceola High School running back.
Following in the footsteps of older brother Jonathan, Marlon Adams put together a fantastic senior season at Osceola High School. Adams led a very balanced Seminole rushing attack with 1,050 yards, averaging nearly 7 yards per carry. Number 20 found the end zone 21 times, helping lead the Noles to the 4A East Conference Championship and a spot in the second round of the state playoffs. Adams is just 5'3", but he's built low to the ground and incredibly quick. Kevin Barnes of Rivercrest High School is the next player selected to the running back position on the K8 coaches super team. Barnes was named the Conference 3A back of the year. This Colt galloped to 1,105 yards, helping Rivercrest to the league championship, as well as a spot in the third round of the state football playoffs.
My name is Chris Landers, a senior running back for the Green County Tech Eagles.
It was hard this year to keep this Eagle grounded. Chris Landers was the workhorse for the Green County Tech rushing attack. This all-conference, all-state selection ran all over the field this past season, good for just over 1,500 yards. That set a GCT record. Landers scored 17 touchdowns, helping the Eagles to a 5-5 record.
DeWarren Walker, senior running back for Hasbro Hornets.
Watching DeWarren Walker this year was like watching Tampa Bay's Mike Allstott. About the only thing different is the number they wear. Walker bumped, banged, blasted, and bruised his way to just under 1,500 rushing yards this past season for the Hornets. A 3-year starter for Harrisburg, Walker is an all-conference, all-state selection. Walker could be playing football next year, perhaps at a Gulf South school, but likely on the defensive side. These 5 outstanding running backs gave opposing teams fits this season, and that's why they're running backs on the K8 coaches super team. Now, you did not see Rivercrest's Kevin Barnes in that shot. He was a little bit under the weather when we brought these student athletes in. So, of course, Kevin, we do hope you are feeling better. Now, you add up all the aforementioned positions, and you comprise an entire football squad, and that's our next category, best overall team.
While 11 individuals play each snap, each one has to work together for the team to win each play and thus the game. And one team literally ran away from the field this year as the best in Region 8.
The Wynn Yellow Jackets demolished their opponents with a punishing ground game that accounted for 93% of their total offensive production. Ask any coach and they'll tell you no matter how good the play, no matter how fancy the design, if you don't execute, it won't work. And that's how Wynn beat you, execution on offense and defense. This year, the Yellow Jackets flew their way to an 11-2-1 record and their 3rd state championship. Wynn's defense held opponents to just 18 points a game, while their offense racked up 5,393 total yards, averaging exactly twice as many points as their opponents, scoring 36 a game. Congratulations to the Wynn Yellow Jackets, Class 4A state champs, and the K8 Coaches Super Team of the Year.
Wynn definitely deserving of that distinction. Time now to take another break, but when we come back, some individual awards to hand out.
We'll find out who was voted the Coach of the Year and Player of the Year, the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special. We'll be right back.
You drive and drive and drive. Others drive too, some behind you and some in front of you. And based on the laws of road physics, sooner or later, a rock will come crashing into your windshield. Well, maybe not that big of a rock, but it sure seems like it. Call S&S Glass. They have the experience to take care of any glass problem, big or small, windows, mirrors, and more. S&S Glass, 2 locations, Jonesboro and Poplar Bluff.
We can solve your glass problems, S&S Glass.
Stadium Auto Body in Jonesboro leads the way in modern auto body repair with the very latest equipment and only the finest materials to make your car look like new. From major damage to minor mishaps, Stadium Auto Body's trained, experienced professionals personally guarantee all their work for as long as you own your vehicle. We'll work with your insurance company to get you back on the road fast. Don't settle for less. Stadium Auto Body's simply the best. One call does it all, so make the right call. Stadium Auto Body on Stadium, a mile and a half south of the 63 bypass, Jonesboro.
Now get 7-year or 100,000-mile powertrain protection and 0% APR on 2002 Dodge Ram.
This month at Sonic, we're rolling out our new Big Cheese. To mark the occasion, Sonic's chairman, our own Big Cheese, will deliver the very first one. Our new Big Cheese is the biggest burger we've ever brought you. Made with 2 juicy burger patties and 3 slices of smoky cheddar cheese, topped with crisp bacon and tangy sweet honey pepper sauce. Who knows when it'll be back again? Just for the holidays, enjoy our creamy eggnog shake, just like old-fashioned eggnog.
And welcome back, everybody. Perhaps the one person that shoulders all of the blame and all of the praise is the head coach. It's a great job when you're winning, but everybody's a critic as soon as you start losing.
One person with few critics and few losses in his career is Wynn head football coach Don Campbell, who for the 2nd year in a row is the K8 Coaches Super Team Coach of the Year.
Coach Don Campbell has had a successful 26-year career coaching high school football. The past 11 of them as coach of the Wynn Yellow Jackets. Despite all his success, this year may be his best year yet, as he won his first state title. He wins with a simple offensive game plan and a swarming defense. On O, Coach Campbell runs, and then runs some more, a plan that works so well the Yellow Jackets rush for more than 5,000 yards. And that's the mark of a good coach and a good team, when everyone knows what you're going to do and they still can't beat you. But Coach Campbell also got it done on defense as Wynn stung their opponents, holding them to just 18 points a game on their way to an 11-2-1 record. But he saved his best coaching for the end of the season after Wynn lost the final game and conference championship to Osceola. Coach Campbell then turned things around and marched his team through the playoffs to the Class 4A state title.
Joining us now, Wynn Yellow Jacket head football coach Don Campbell. Coach, first of all, congratulations on being selected by your peers as the Coach of the Year. It's got to be quite an honor.
Thank you. I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to the kids there at Wynn who made this thing possible.
More than 3 decades of coaching for you, the first state title this year. Was it worth the wait?
Believe me, it was well worth the wait. We enjoyed it. I think our whole community did, and we're still enjoying it.
The team that you have, and every team you seem to have, is based on running. 5,000 rushing yards, only 300 passing yards. Is it the system that makes this Wynn high school football good every year?
I think it's a combination of the system, and we've got some players who believe in the system. And so, you know, we've always been able to run the football there, and that's been sort of our tradition and stuff, and we just believe it's going to continue on.
Tradition, obviously, also making the playoffs. You've been conference champions the past 2 years. This year you weren't, but won the state title. Was this your best team ever?
Well, they're the state champions, and I don't know how you're going to get any better than that. They played at a different level. I think when we got to the playoffs this year, the kids stepped up and just played lights out. It was unbelievable how we played. And the thing about it, we beat some quality football teams.
The teams that you have every year, like I mentioned, are always in the playoffs, always have. You had undefeated seasons 3 of the last 5 years. Is it the water there? Why is the team so good all the time?
Good players, I think, and good water, too. We've got good water. We've got Wynn Yellow Jacket water. And so it's just a combination of things. We've got great support from our community, from the school administration, and it's just a variety of things. And more than anything else, kids believe in what we're doing. I have parents come up to me now and see me and say, hey, Coach, said, my son wants to be a Yellow Jacket. And so the kids just and the community believe in what we're doing.
You've been coaching for 34 years now. How much longer do you plan on coaching? Another state championship, hopefully, in the future?
I wouldn't mind it. You know, as long as my health stays good and I still enjoy it, and I got a good bunch of kids to work with, I'm gonna keep on coaching.
Coach, congratulations again. Second year in a row. We should maybe rename it after you, the Coach Don Campbell Award. Hard to get better than a state championship. Obviously, a great year again for Coach Campbell. We have one more award to be handed out. That would be the High School Player of the Year. The winner of this award will come as no surprise.
He was receiving much praise before the season started, but from the first game through the final game, he backed up all of that praise. For the second year in a row, a Win Yellow Jacket has been named the K8 Coaches Player of the Year. Following the footsteps of Antonio Warren, Win running back Deangelo Williams is the runaway winner for the K8 Coaches High School Football Player of the Year. His numbers simply staggering. Williams carried the ball 212 times for a school record 2,004 yards. Do the math, and that's an unbelievable 10.4 yard per carry average. This all-conference, all-state performer found the end zone 34 times. Williams led the Yellow Jackets to an 11-2-1 record, but more importantly, to the school's third ever high school football championship. In the Class 4A title game, Williams showed that he is a prime-time player, recording 4 touchdowns in the game, 2 by ground, 1 through the air, and 1 off a punt return. Congratulations to Win High School's Deangelo Williams, named the K8 Coaches Player of the Year. And definitely a terrific season. We are now joined by Deangelo Williams of Win High School. And Deangelo, congratulations on a great year. Being named the K8 Coaches Player of the Year.
Thank you.
Something to remember this fabulous season. And where do we begin? So many yards of state championship. What do you remember most about this year?
Well, I remember, 2,204 yards and 38 touchdowns thanks to my offensive line. They played very hard this year and blocked tremendously when we needed to. And we came out with a state championship.
Not only did they block the way for a 2,000-yard rusher in yourself, but a 1,000-yard rusher in Michael Stiegel. And you did miss 2 games, still over 2,000 yards. Was there a set goal as far as touchdowns and yardage that you had in mind?
No, sir, but there was a goal setting the 2,000-yard mark. I talked to my offensive line early in the season, and I told them, hey, I want to, get 2,000 yards. And I said, hey, no problem. And they got me to 2,000 yards.
It looked like no problem. You averaged over 10 yards a carry on your way to help lead Win to the Class 4A state championship. Has that feeling sunk in yet that you guys are state champs?
Oh, yes, sir. It feels great. You can tell that we won the state championship by the community. They support us big time, and there's a lot of 4A state championship shirts around and a lot of signs that say, Go Jackets, state champs.
Were you kind of waiting for this year? You had to share the ball a little bit with Antonio Warren last year. He was the senior. As a matter of fact, Antonio was the Player of the Year last year. And this was your turn. This was your year, your turn to make a name for Deangelo Williams.
Well, Antonio pushed me a lot. The last game of the season last year, we sat down and we talked a little bit. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to be better than you. And he said, that's what I want. I want you to be better than me. And he gave me some pointers on how to run the ball, and I took those and I put them in my game plan, and we're state champs.
State champs, fabulous year. Got to ask you, you're being recruited by just about everybody. Where are you right now in this decision-making process? Have you made up your mind?
No, sir, I haven't really made up my mind yet. I have this open door policy, so whichever schools want to recruit me, I just take them in and, I evaluate them, and probably February, National Signing Date, I'll probably have an answer.
For those fans out there, Arkansas State, Arkansas, are they still out there?
Oh, yes, sir. They're still in there. They're hanging in there tough.
So he's left it up in the air. He might be an Indian, might be a Razorback. Only time will tell. Someone's going to get a good one.
You bet they're going to get a good one. And that's going to do it for the Dodge High School Football Postseason Special.
Hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic weekend. Truman +1 Region 8 basketball player there, but he actually signed a baseball scholarship. We'll tell you where he's heading, and Tiger Woods looking for his 3rd major of this year alone. Tiger Talk, stick around. Sports is next.
We know Mark Pryor. We know his family and his values. He's been a strong attorney general, tough on lawbreakers, tough on criminals. And Mark Pryor supports President Bush's efforts to improve Homeland Security and strengthen our military, including more funds for troops and technology, building more Patriot missiles, and military trials for terrorists. Don't be fooled by Tim Hutchinson's false attacks. Mark Pryor will keep America strong and Arkansas secure.
Count on a commitment from the K8 Storm Team.
with state-of-the-art technology for making accurate and dependable weather forecasts.
But your K8 Storm Team personal forecast takes it all to a new level.